like driving. It's hard to learn visual spatial judgment. Okay? And we get immigrants from other countries who never even rode a bike, never did any sports. A lot of them are in Richmond. Okay? They get in a lot of accidents. Okay? The visual spatial skills, they've never developed them. They don't have them. Okay. Reduce to lowest terms stating the restrictions. Do you want to do it in that order? Okay. You can reduce this, but just don't cancel anything until you find the restrictions, because otherwise you're going to lose some of the restrictions. Okay? So this is all factoring, guys. What can I do to the top? Does it kind of look like maybe a difference of squares? You got to be thinking that when you see a minus in two terms. I can't take the square root of t cubed, though. I can take the square root of 4. What can I do with this? Out of the numbers, I can't take, can I take a t out? Yeah. Okay, so take a t out, and then I have a 4t squared minus 9. Now do I have a difference of squares? Yep, you bet. Okay. On the bottom, what can I take out? Just a t. And I have a 2t minus 3. I said this a couple times to a few of you yesterday. All these questions are carefully crafted so that you can do something to it. You're always going to have something to cancel, okay? We're not going to give you something that, like, that's it, you're done, right? It's kind of common sense. We're going to give you something to work with, something to factor. It's going to cancel down. So right away, I'm looking at this 2t minus 3. Do you think we're going to get one of these factors on the top? Yeah. Okay. So the square root of 4t squared is 2t. The square root of 9 is 3. Oh, there's my 2t minus 3. Right there. Okay. Now before you start hacking and slashing, because a lot of you like doing this, okay? It's the Christmas sale. Everything must go. What do you want to do first? Restrictions. Okay, t cannot be what? Let's write it over here. If t is 0, this is 0 times whatever this is. The whole denominator is 0. I can't divide by 0. And if t is something else here, that will be 0 in the brackets. 0 times anything is 0, and again, I'll be dividing by 0. What can't t be there? Okay, and some of us are getting good at seeing that, and some of us aren't. If you're not, then you do this. That can't be 0. If it is, I'm dividing by 0, and that's a no-no. You don't know how to do that. Okay, so you got to solve it. 2t cannot be 3. Divide by 2. Okay, t cannot be 1.5. Okay, if it is, then this is a no-no. All right, so now I can simplify. Cancel factors, the bracket stuff. There's a 2t minus 3. Divide it by itself, that's 1. Can I do anything else? T. Divided by t, it's gone. What do I have left? This is just 2t plus 3. Okay? Now t could be anything here, couldn't it? I don't care what value of t, this thing's fine, right? So if you don't do your restrictions first, you don't get that. Okay? What do I want to do to the top? I want to factor it. Every question you're going to be factoring something. Okay, what two numbers multiply to minus 6 and add to 5? Oh, we're going to split this up, aren't we? Okay. So I'm going to split up 5x into, what are these two numbers? Is it 3 times 2? Well, let's try it, because you know what? Those look like they add up to 5. But one of these has to be a negative, right? That's not going to add to 5. That's going to add to minus 1. Okay, and if I put the minus here, well, that's positive 1. Yeah, okay. So try
6. I did this yesterday, didn't I? 6 times 1 is 6. They got to add to 5.
So that's positive 6 and negative 1.
Okay, split up 5x into 6x minus 3. Okay?
Now I got to do the bottom one too.
What multiplies to, let's go over here, negative 1 times 2 is negative 2. What adds to 1? Well, it's got to be 2 times 1. To add that, I want 2 and minus 1. So 2x squared plus 2x minus 1. It's a good idea to stop right there and make sure they're the same thing. I didn't change it, okay? Because I saw some of these mistakes on the factoring test. If this is wrong, you're going to do a lot of work for nothing, aren't you? Okay? Is 6x minus x 5x? Yes. Is 2x minus x 1x? Yes. These are the same. What can I factor out of the first two? A 2x. Then I have x plus 3. What can I factor out of here, knowing that I want an x plus a 3 here? Minus 1. On the bottom, I can take 2x out. Oh look, I got a 2x on the top. What a surprise, huh? Okay, and I have x plus a 1, x plus a 1. Should have wrote smaller. Okay, factor out x plus 3. What do you have left? 2x minus 1. Okay, factor out an x plus a 1. On the bottom, what do you have? Hey, what a shocker, a 2x minus 1.
Okay. Cancel? Or something else first? Restrictions.
X cannot be a negative 1 or a 1/2. Okay? Because if that's a half, this is 0 times anything is 0. Then I'm going to cancel it out, and I'm just left with x plus 3 over x plus 1. Do I want to cancel those x's? Don't. Okay? Okay, lots of factoring. Okay, well, I guess I'll do that one. Okay, on the top, we could probably do this by inspection, right? A is 1. This is confusing. The coefficient of the a squared term is 1, so we should be able to do this by inspection. Okay, just throw down 2 sets of brackets. There's only one choice to get to a squared, that's a times a. What multiplies to negative 8 and adds to 2? Negative 4 and 2. Oh, no, it doesn't. Plus 4 and minus 2. That looks better. Okay. Check it. Foil it. I just did quickly and then realized I was wrong. Okay. Can I do the bottom one by inspection? You should, because the coefficient's 1 again. What times what is a to the 4th power? A squared times a squared. What multiplies to 64 and adds to negative 20? What was that, Reese? (16 times 4). To add to negative 20, they both better be negative. Does this question look like a lot of fun? What do we got in the bottom? 2 of them.
Let's spread the joy.
Lots of stuff. Okay, on the top we got a plus 4 over a minus 2.
You think some of those are going to cancel? You think we're going to get some of those factors in the denominator?
I'm just thinking out loud here. A times a is a squared, and 4 times 4 is 16 plus minus. That's the first one. And a squared minus 4, that's also a difference of squares. A plus 2, a minus 2. Doesn't like writing on the edge.
Okay? I know we're really anxious to start crossing some of these factors out, but
do your restrictions first, okay? A can't be 4 or minus 4. So I know the book likes writing it like that. And it can't be 2 or minus 2. Okay. Hack and slash sale. Everything must go. What do I got left on the top? Yeah, got to put a 1 there. And then the bottom I have a minus 4, a plus 2.
Okay, like I said, you're always going to be canceling something. If you expand all this out and you can't do anything, that's an indication you did something wrong. Okay? We're always going to give you something to cancel out. Otherwise, it's no fun. Okay. Express in simplest form, stating the values of the variable for which the expression is not defined. Is that any different than the last question? State the restrictions. That says exactly the same thing, right? It's not, the restriction is it can't be undefined. You can't divide by 0. It's all saying the same thing. Okay. C can't be what here? If it is 4, I'm dividing by 0, right? Can't do it. Okay, I'm done with restrictions. Now what can I cancel? The 4s? Lewis? Huh? Do I cancel 4s out? No. Do I cancel the C's out? Dannon? No. Please? Can I really? No, I can't do anything with that yet. You remember a little trick from grade 10? How do I make the top look like the bottom? Or how do you make the bottom look like the top? What can I factor out of something? Well, minus 3. I don't want to see a minus 3. I want to make that positive. How do I make that positive? Let's factor out a minus 1. Then I have a positive 3. Is it the same number? Yeah, that's our little trick. Okay? If I factor out a minus 1 out of the top, what do I get? That's got to be a minus C to give me positive C. This has to be a positive 4 to give me a negative 4. And then, is that the same thing in the denominator? That's C, that's 4 minus C, isn't it? This is 4 minus C, that's 4 minus C. Let's just write it the other way. 4 minus C over 4 minus C. Now, I can cancel something. Anything divided by itself is 1. Okay? So this guy is just minus 1. If you do that first, do you know that C can't be 4? No, that's why you do that first. Okay? This doesn't work. It's not minus 1 if C is 4. If C is 4, this thing's undefined. Okay? You can't do it. But that's what that simplifies down to. Okay, any questions on that? That's a little trick, okay? Got to remember that. Okay, what do you factor out of the top? You got to think difference of squares, right? Okay, there's a minus, there's 2 things here. I can't take the square root of 2, I can't take the square root of p cubed, but
I have a p squared here. Always, always, okay, if it's a difference of squares, you take out a greatest common factor, it's still going to be a difference of squares. All right, so what's the greatest common factor? I can take a 2 out, and I can take a p. Can I take anything bigger? Yeah, take a p squared. What do you got left? A p minus a 2. Is that a difference of squares? No, it's not. Okay, you still got to think it, but it turns out it's not. That's all you can do with the top. On the bottom, what can I take out? I can take an 8 out. Okay, I got 2 minus p. Restrictions first. What can't p be? Yeah, if p is 2, that's a no-no. All right. Then, well, I can factor this. 2 goes into 8 4 times. But who's got a good short-term memory? What do I want to do? I want, sorry? Hey, who's paying attention? Maybe I should ask that question. I want to do the same thing I did here. This, I want to factor out a -1, and it doesn't matter. I can take it out of the top or the bottom. Let's take it out of the bottom this time. Okay, on the top I have p squared times p minus 2. On the bottom I got a 4, but I want to take a minus out. So let's make that -4, and then that's going to be -2 plus p. Okay? Let's check it. Let's check it. Top's the same. I didn't change it. The bottom, I got 4 times 2 minus p. What would that give me? That would give me 8 minus 4p, right? Let's write that down. Okay, and on the bottom, does that give me 8? Yep. Does that give me minus 4p? Yep. This is the same as this. Okay? Should always check. Now, I'm not going to rearrange this again. I hope you see this is the same as that. That's p minus 2 over p minus 2. Okay, it's the same factor. I can cancel it out. It's in the brackets. It's multiplied. There's no pluses here. Right? No plus or minus. So this just becomes, where do you want to put the minus? You usually want to put it on the top. Okay? Doesn't matter. That's the same as this. That's the same as this. Okay? Sometimes books will write it this way. Sometimes they write it that way. Usually we don't put the minus on the bottom. The number is negative. It doesn't matter what you put in the minus, right? But we usually have it like this or this. Okay? Let me skip C there. Let's go over to bit of a word problem. I know you guys had a little difficulty with this in grade 10. These kids this year in grade 10, they do too, right? When we get to factoring, we all have this concept problem, all right? If I said the area was 10, and I said, what would be some reasonable dimensions of this rectangle? You'd all say 5 times 2. Okay? But when we get to this is the area, what are some reasonable dimensions? How did you do this? You went, what are 2 factors that multiply to 10? What are 2 factors that multiply to this? In other words, factor this. Okay? Factor 10, 5 times 2. Factor this. They're already telling you one of the factors. This is the area. The length is that. Write and simplify a rational expression which represents the width. For any rectangle, area is length times width. How do I solve this humongous formula for width? Divide by L, and the width is area over the length.
right? If I didn't know that, if this was grade 6 and I said, solve that for the width, what would you do?
I would go, the area over the length is the width. That's 2. You probably wouldn't think like that. You would think, what do I need to multiply to 5 to give me 10? Right? Because I know length times width is 10. But this is exactly the same. That's what they're saying. Write and simplify a rational expression. Have we seen some questions like this already with a polynomial over another polynomial? Yeah, that's all we've been doing in this chapter. Okay? I know what the area is. That's this. Okay, I know what the length is. That's this. Therefore, this thing is equal to the width. There it is. That's a rational expression which represents the width. Okay? But again, just factor that. You'll get one of these as the dimension, you'll get the other one. How do I factor the top? Looks a little nasty, but we should be able to get it. What multiplies to 7 times 12 negative and adds to 25? Little nasty. I've showed you this, right? If it's hard to find, because some of you guys, you know, I don't know, you pull out your calculator and you start dividing things, right? You remember prime factorization? That's 2 times 42. That's 6 times 7. That's 3 times 2. That's your only combination of factors of 84. That's the only things that multiply to 84. 2 times 3 times 2 times 7. One of those combinations is going to add up to 25. Okay, it's not 42 times 2. Okay, is it 6 times 14? That's one combination. No, that doesn't give me 25. Okay, is it 2 times 2 is 4, times 3 is 12, times 7? No. Is it 2 times 2, 4, times 7, 28, times 3? There it is. Okay? Who knew 84 was 28 times 3? Not me. Okay? But that's your only possibilities. Those 4 numbers in some combinations got to work. Okay? Now this has to get to minus 84. So this has got to be 28 times minus 3. Those add to 25? Yes. Okay? So I'm going to split up 25a into 28a minus 3a. Okay? Well, let me just skip. I don't have a lot of room here, so let me skip the denominator for now. I just want to factor that. What can I take out of the first 2? I can take a 2 out. Is there anything else? Can I take a 4 out? And an a? That goes in there. 3a. 4a goes into 28a. 7 times. Hey, have we seen that 3a plus 7 before? Okay. Take out a minus 1 here. 3a plus 7. Okay. So the top is 4a minus 1 times 3a plus 7. Now I'm going to bring back my denominator and write right over my next question. Okay? Do we see what the width is? It doesn't really ask me for the restrictions here, does it? Okay, it's just kind of asking me for the width. So, am I too concerned with that? Not really. This divided by itself, remember this is the width. There it is. Ooh, you're not going to see that. All right, that's the width. So the width is 4a minus 1. Okay?
So we could have just factored this thing and gotten our 2 dimensions, but to answer the question properly, I kind of needed to write it like that, right? Okay? But I hope you see, if you just factor that and get this thing times that thing, and I already know that's my length, then this must be my width, right? Okay, perimeter. What's the formula for perimeter of a rectangle? Do you even need to know it? Here's a rectangle. Okay, if I start here and walk around this thing, what do I get? I get a length and a width and a length and a width. That's 2 lengths and 2 widths. That's what perimeter is. Do I know what the length of this thing is? Yeah, it's 3a plus 7. If I have 2 lengths and 2 widths, they're telling me that equals 54. That's how long it is. Recall seeing this in grade 10? You got it. Okay. So, what do? Multiply it out. That's 6a plus 14 plus 8a minus 2 is 54. Okay, I got 14a plus 12 is 54. What can I do with that? Minus 12 to both sides. Okay, so 4a is 42. Oh, thanks. Yeah. 14a divided by 14. Does 14 go into 42 nicely? 3 times. Well, that's nice. By the way, that's what I'm doing. Determine the value of a. There it is. All right, one more piece. The field has to be treated with fertilizer. This stuff costs $2.40 per square meter. Calculate the cost of the treatment. What do I need to know? I need to know the area. If I know how many square meters it is, I just multiply it by 240 a square meter. So you got a couple choices. Do you know what the area is? Sure you do. That's the first thing they gave you. Or you can just do the area yourself. I know the length and the width. Either way is fine, okay? I know 3a plus 7 is the length. Do I know what a is? Yeah, it's 3. If I multiply that by the width, 4, a minus 1, that's going to be the area. Okay? So like I said, you can do that, or you can just plug it right in here. Plug 3 in there. Find the area. Okay? That's 9 and 7. 16 times 12 minus 1. Okay? 16 times 11 is what? 160, 176. Okay, 176 times 240 per, actually let's do units. A lot of you are in chemistry. 176 meters squared times $2, well let's go $240 per square meter. What happens with my units? I'm left with dollars, aren't I? Calculate the cost. Better be in dollars. Okay, what's that times that? 422.40. Okay, couple more. Our computer's still working, so that's good. Okay, how's this one different?
simplify and state the non-permissible values how are these ones different than the ones we've already done? Brianna? Brenna? There's two variables. Are there any numbers in the bottom? No. So, let's read the rest. Can you see that? Values for x in terms of y. What happens if x is the same value as y here? Carmen? If x is equal to y, what happens? Actually, it will be a very big number. It'll be infinity. That's like the biggest number there is, right? Okay? Because that's how much money my dad makes. Infinity. Oh yeah, my dad makes infinity and 1. Okay, so how do we do this? I don't know what x and y is, but I know if they're the same thing, that's not good. Because if x is equal to 4 and y is equal to 4, what am I going to have? 4 minus 4. If x is equal to 7 and y is equal to 7, I also get 0. Okay, am I going to write down every possible combination and be here for a billion years? Or am I going to say simply that? That's my restriction. As long as x isn't y, I'm okay. And so are you. And then daddy makes it infinity dollars. Okay? That's the restriction. Now, how do I simplify it? Can I do my little trick here? Yeah? Okay. Let's take a -1 out of the top. That's going to be just flip. By the way, guys, flip the signs. That's all you're doing. When you take a minus out, flip the signs. That's positive, it becomes negative. That's positive, it becomes negative, right? Over x minus y. Can I cancel something? Well, nope. Doesn't help. I'm done. I can't simplify that. I don't care what you do, you won't be able to do anything to it. All right. Okay. Does this look like a difference of squares? Sure does. Okay. What times what is x squared? X. What times what is 25y squared? 5y. Plus, minus. Hey, I got something to cancel. But what do we got to do first? Yeah. Oh, they're not called restrictions now. They're called non-permissible values. Come on, guys, get with it. Okay.